back to another episode of Polite as Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Wednesday, the usual things. Hope everyone is doing well.
Yeah, April's almost over already. What the heck?
Crazy to even think about, actually.
We got one more week left in April
I
when
know.
this comes out.
Oh my god.
Anyway. Just in time for traveling.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. I feel like I would give you guys updates, but I don't really have any.
We went to a baseball game.
Oh yeah, I went to a
They
baseball
won.
game. That was so much fun. Yeah, won, thank God. It's always like, it feels like a prize, like an extra prize when we win and you're there, you know?
San Diego pride.
Yeah.
Padres pride.
Just Padre, like, baseball girlies now. But yeah, other than that, no real big updates, so we're just jumping into our episode. We have a fun travel episode this week. I almost said this year. One a year, that's all you get. I think that, I don't know, we're kind of, like, speaking of it being almost out of April, we're, like, kind of coming into this, like, okay, springtime, summertime, let's reevaluate some of our goals and, like, what we want to do over the summer. It's, like, you kind of have to, like, start planning these things. So I know you have some trips planned, and I just have this, like, urge to travel and plan trips and be out there, and it was on my goals for this year. And it's always on the goals for the year of, like, traveling and doing something not in where you live or just kind of making, like, a special outing. But I don't know, I have this itch to do solo travel, and I have never really done as, like, a trip by myself outside of, like, road trips and camping trips and things like that. I, like, more mean, like, okay, I'm actively going to a new place that I've never been before, whether in the country or outside of the country, by myself, and what that looks like. So I'm, like, ready. I want to do it. So I thought we would, like, talk about it a little bit, because you, like, fully did solo travel, like, full on wish me luck, I'm gone for a year type situation. And I know we've talked about it before, but there's just so many different things that, like, encompass solo travel versus, like, planning and doing a trip with people, you know?
Yeah. Okay, all my thoughts are jumbling in my head.
I know.
I think that when you said you wanted to do a solo trip, some of the things that first came to mind were, like, how fun it is to go to new spots, and there are no expectations. You set your own, like, routine. You do whatever the literal heck that you want anytime, and it also, like, really pushes you to get outside your comfort zone, because it's like, if you don't speak up, if you don't ask people things, like, you're going to have gone to wherever it is, say Iceland, and traveled all the way there and then miss out on things because you were just, like, too scared to ask, which I have done. Like, I've gone to a spot and then just been, like, I don't know, nervous, or, like, oh, I'll just figure it out on my own, and then spend the day, like, wasting time, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I would have asked, if I would have tried to, like, befriend people, whatever. So I think that part's really cool because it pushes you in the confidence piece. I do think there's, like, solo traveling, everyone should do it. I think you at a certain point hit a wall, and this is, like, after maybe 6 months where you're like, wow, I really wish someone else was looking at this thing with me. Like, this is so cool, and I'm by myself. Like, I was doing a lot of hiking, which I loved, and I love hiking by myself all the time usually, but it was, like, after 6 or so months, I was like, cool, another view by myself. And, like, you journal, like, about it, and you're like, what is it that I want? Who would I want to share it with? Because on the flip side, and I'm sure you can speak to this, you travel with people, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I wish you weren't here. I wish I was doing this by myself or with someone else in your mind, because it's like, you're driving me crazy, or you're bringing the vibes down, or whatever it is, and then it kind of, like, ruins your experience. So there's, like, pros and cons to both. I think it's nice to have a friend or two on a trip with you, but I also think even if you do that, having a day or like chunks of time where you're out doing your own thing is so important because you just learn so much about yourself.
Yeah. I think that's where I'm at. Like, I prefer to travel with people. I think it makes it more fun. It's that shared experience. You have someone to kind of like you have someone to talk to, but also like choosing who you decide to go on a trip with is important too, because I want to be like the most confident and I don't want it to be like all on me or all on that other person. So when you're with someone that you like really vibe with and you're out traveling, you can push each other to try new things, but also like have the space, to do, I don't know, like I'm thinking of our Miami trip where it was like felt so fun and also like had moments, we picked and chose things that we wanted to do based on who we are, and thankfully we like a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
But also just like had these little moments, like the moment that I'm thinking of is subconsciously picking this Airbnb that had that like really nice outdoor area and being able to have kind of like a solo moment of like wake up and do our thing, and like yes, we're together and the spot is like so close, but it's like able to have kind of like a silent or like go outside and stretch for a little bit while somebody else is like in the shower. It was just those kinds of things are really nice. I think I just am at that point recently where I'm just like ready for kind of that, like, I don't know, you step out of your comfort zone when you travel already, and then being by yourself adds that extra layer of like anxiety, and I think that that's really helpful because that's where you grow a little bit. And so obviously being smart about it, I feel like that's like a given, but I have always, the reason why Erica said Iceland is because I've always had this like itch to go there. And so I don't know what it is recently, but I'm like on this kick to go, and I think I just
I
need
feel like you've been saying that since like high school.
Literally, I don't
Like I
know
remember
why.
you talking about wanting to go to Iceland for a long time.
And I just like the solitude, the greenery, just everything about doing that and being by yourself just really scares me in a good way. And I haven't had that experience. And I think, I don't know, to your point of wanting to share it, I'm almost like, is that maybe why, outside of the fear piece, or I wouldn't say fear, more like anxiety piece of traveling out like by yourself, there is some sort of like, oh, like I wouldn't say sadness, but just kind of like, oh man, I'm about to experience some like really beautiful things and like not having someone there. I was kind of looking back at some of my goals for the year, and I know that going to New York has been something that I've been talking about pretty recently, and I still want to do it. It's a goal of mine, but I think just recently, for so many reasons, including what you said about just having some sort of like realizing that everybody is human and restoring my faith in humanity type kind of thing, I just want to do a solo trip. And I think, one, Iceland's been on my mind for a really long time. Two, New York doesn't feel like a place that I want to go by myself. Like I do want to enjoy, I want to try, like the reason why I would go is to like walk around and sightsee, but also like try local food and go shopping and do all the like the city things. And while I'm sure I would have a good time by myself, I would make it work. To me, that's like something that I would want to do with you or like my sisters or like girlfriends or something like that, So that's kind of why I've like shifted a little bit into this like Iceland type vibe. And
I see it for you.
Yeah, I think it just like sparked a lot of like thoughts about traveling and being by yourself. And I don't know, I know that you have like some trips planned, and are any of them solo trips though?
I'll have solo time in between. What's looking like is gonna happen, and this is I need to figure it out. We should talk about planning too, because I used to be so just like down to the hour. Here's what I'm doing. Like I know that this takes this much time, and then I'm gonna walk, and it's gonna take me 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna do this thing, and then it's like, after a week of that, you're like, hey, I'm exhausted. I can't really put this into practice. And so I feel like I've become more laxed in terms of what the plan actually is. It's like, oh, I know there are a few things here I want to do, and like maybe on these days, or I'll at least like look ahead enough to know like this museum is closed on Mondays. So like Tuesday or Wednesday is the day that I would go to that. But it's not like, okay, I need to wake up at 6, do this whole thing. Anyway, I have become even more lax to where I'm booking trips without really knowing what the schedule at all is going to be. So this year, it seems, I'm going to go backpacking with some friends. Then I'll have some time, like a week in between, where like the next thing isn't starting yet because I'm going on a trip with Mr. Fours and his family, but they don't get here until a certain day. No idea what I'm going to do in between that time.
Oh, that's so fun, though.
But yeah, I need to figure it out.
Wait, okay, so where are you going backpacking?
Slovenia.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Crazy. I never even really knew it was a country.
Honestly, same. I don't really know where it is.
I think it's next to Italy, or like so you know the Dolomites in Italy?
Yeah.
It's like the less traveled, cheaper version of the Dolomites.
Oh.
So I hear. Because it's on that, like, it's part of that same mountain range, I think. Don't quote me on that. That's what I think.
I love that. And then where's the, like, week in between? Or is that where you don't, that's where you don't know. Okay.
Clue.
Because you can go wherever.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. I'm, like, kind of thinking Croatia again, but maybe as, like, a, solo moment.
No, I'll meet you in Croatia.
Yeah, come on out. If you planned your trip at the same time and then popped over, quick flight.
I'll row my little boat across.
It can't be that far.
It can't be. Well, one of my friends was just saying they do nonstop flights. Is that a thing? Yeah, it's from Raleigh, whatever, to Iceland. I'm like, that's incredible. So it is a bop.
Yeah.
I'm saying
bop
it's a bop
on over, I'm sure. That's the thing. You like look at a map and you're like, oh, that's not that far.
Wait, this is so
and
funny.
Then
I'm like, I'm going to invite myself to your solo
Yeah,
trip.
come on over. That
it.
would be fun.
And then where are you and Mr. For's family? What is that?
And then that's Italy.
That's gonna be so fun.
Which will be really fun. I have decided, and this will also maybe be like a solo moment, is they're starting in Rome, and to be honest, I've done Rome once and I don't know if I need to do it again. I don't love huge cities, and like they're just gonna be getting into Europe. I'm like, you guys are gonna be real excited and want to go, and I'm not gonna want to do that, so I'm gonna meet them in Florence. But then supposedly, I might be meeting more friends in Portugal after this trip, but I'll have another break in between where there's no there's no plan, because they'll come like.
I love that though.
So if you want to come then too.
You know what you could do is go south and do like Morocco.
Hell yeah.
That would be really fun.
That Portugal and Morocco and Spain are like.
Because have you done Morocco yet? No, I
haven't done Spain or Portugal or Morocco. I haven't done anything over there.
And that's another thing too, is like, yeah, the planning piece is huge, but that's kind of what I'm looking forward to solo.
Yeah.
Is because it's like, I just worry about me. Like, I don't have to worry about anybody else, and I know my schedule. Like, to me, when I'm with someone, I am like, let's go. But I'm thinking of like, well, it kind of depends on money, obviously. But I'm like, it's kind of nice to have a day unplanned and just like walk around, sleep in, enjoy the food, like go to a restaurant or whatever and just like sit and observe. That sounds so weird. But you know, and I think when I'm traveling with someone, I'm more like, I want to be doing something. It's weird to just be like, hey, do you want to go sit at a restaurant? Like, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, no, I'm with you. Let's go do something. But when you're by yourself, you have that, like, option and opportunity. So, but I was just talking to my sister about this, too, this morning, of decision paralysis. And this is where I'm like, when you bring up planning, part of me is like, oh, I love a plan, and I know you love a plan.
Yeah.
But there is something so special, fun, and kind of like funny about the like, I've just been booking trips and these tour buses or whatever the fuck, and we'll just kind of, I don't even know if that goes with the schedule, and it's kind of like, well, then that's your schedule, and you work around it because you already had this thing planned, rather than like, okay, type in real quick a little bit of research of, okay, well, this person says this one's the best and then this one's the best, but this starts at 10 a.m. and this one starts at 11. Like, what should we do? And then you're kind of just stuck in this cycle of,
Yeah.
but this one, oh, but this one. And I do that on a daily fucking basis with literally anything in my life, that I just feel like with a travel piece, and this is probably not great advice, like you kind of just like, boop, you know?
I do think so. I think you kind of like, it's nice to do a little bit of that, like the kind of exhausting, looking at times, looking at when things are, and you like outline it before the trip. But when you're on the trip, if you're doing that, that's just so draining to like spend your morning trying to plan the day and do research for the first time about an area when it's like, okay, well, now you're already there.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're adding like stress. And so if you have like 3 things that are like, this day I could do one of these 3 things, odds are you're probably going to talk to someone who's like, oh, I would recommend this. And then you won't even do the 3 things you thought. Unless they were like something you really, really want to do or whatever.
Yeah. That's so true.
I had another thought.
Did you, when you did solo travel, did you do any like, well, I already know the answer, but like what were the group activities that you did versus like solo activities that you did? And did you make those, it's hard because I know it was so long ago, it's a little bit of a different mindset than where you're at now, but the reason why I ask is because specifically for this Iceland trip, part of me wants to just rent one of those like sleeper vans and do the ring road and just like find places to camp and like that be that.
I love that.
But then some of like the videos and things that I've been watching have been like, okay, you meet, like this is your hotel, and then from there you can go do these like tour buses and like they'll take you. And it's like, I was hesitant at first, one, because I just hate people. I don't. Yeah. I do like people. I don't, but I do. No, I do, and I do want to get that, like, local experience and learn things. And I think if I'm by myself, I'd be doing myself a disservice of, like, looking at this beautiful stuff, but then having someone in the back be like, oh, well, this came from this, or this is the history behind this piece of land, or this whatever name of that. And so how did you choose between what to do, like tour guided or solo?
It's a great question. I am remembering now that I think my mom got me, Lonely Planet.
Yes, yeah.
She got me one of the books for Peru, and honestly that was so nice because whatever city I was in, I would look at what the Lonely Planet like travel thing recommended, and I was like, cool, let me like look into these things. And it's a book, so it might be out of date because I remember looking up some of the stuff and like the restaurant was closed or whatever, but 9 times out of 10 it was like very helpful. I think when it's something that it's like, if you do research online and it's just like a really cool hike, there's not really like a lot of like, I don't know, history. I think tour stuff, like using a tour guide, is really helpful when it's like, if you're going to a museum, I think it's nice to have the person walking you around and explaining, because I'm just gonna look at shit and be like, cool. Or like going to like some historical site, I'll be like, yeah, I saw the old house, but it's like, I don't know what happened here, I don't know what it means. I feel like that type of stuff is helpful to be on a tour with, and like people ask questions that you might not think. And then there are other stuff where it's like, it's a day hike, maybe like 6 miles, and the trail is well marked. I'm just gonna do that by myself. I feel like that's kind of how I decided.
Yeah.
And I would take buses a lot of places, but I think it's probably different in Iceland because I feel like that's the thing to do. It's like rent a van and like go explore.
Yeah. I mean, they do have quite a few like guided things too, and that's where at first I was like not really wanting to do that, but after watching a few videos, I'm like, wait a second, like this tour guide was telling you how to like properly say this in like Icelandic, or this is the food, or what this means, or where the like, the history behind it even, and like meeting people, and I think is that not like exactly what you said, the whole point of kind of like traveling. I think for me, I know that I like being alone and having like my peace and kind of living on my own, like doing my own little thing, but there is like that special connection piece too that I don't want to miss out on.
Yeah. Okay, hostels, you can have whatever opinion you want with them. I think they're so nice for this exact thing, for solo traveling. And like, you don't need to stay in the 8-person dorm, which I have done, where you listen to people have sex and you're like, what's happening? You can get your own room. if you have the budget for that, and that's great, but it's just nice to like, I don't know, you're making your breakfast in the kitchen and then you start chatting with someone and learn what they're doing for the day, and they invite you on the tour or whatever, and then you go and you like have a connection. Because I think that also is nice when you are on a tour, you know, like you have a buddy, you have someone else that's doing it too. And there's oftentimes a lot of people in hostels that are alone and just wanting to, like, they have the same intention as you. There's also a lot of weirdos, but again.
I also think, too, I have, like, secondhand embarrassment about being American. And, like, I just...
Unfortunately.
want to, like, I'm trying to be, like, so self-aware. I don't know. Like, there's only so much apologizing I can do. Like, I am sorry. I get it. I'm sorry. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to be rude. I'm going to learn, like, the tips and tricks on, like, the, like, not rules, but kind of, like, social cues on where you go. Like, I'm not going to enter in being, like, an absolute fucking fool. But from my experience in traveling, like, it is just... like, I mean, there's a difference between the American that's an asshole and the American that's like, oh my God, she's just trying her darndest, you know? And I am that kind of person, but it does give me a little bit of that second pause to be like, don't be that American. Like, don't be stupid. And part of me is like, I'm afraid to, like, talk sometimes because they're like, I remember, I think I told you the story about riding my bike to work in Australia, and my shift was really, really early in the morning, and so I'd be riding my bike in the dark at like 5 in the morning, 5:15 in the morning, and my flashy light went out, and like halfway, and some like biker came up and was like, you need to have your lights on, like this is so like unsafe, blah blah blah, and I literally was like, oh my gosh, I know, I'm so sorry, it just went out, and fucking Americans, and biked off, and I was like, oh, I literally could have done anything, and it was just because of my accent. And if like I could do an Australian accent, I would, but I can't. So I just said it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Even like at the restaurant when I'm like, can I have some more water? They're like, yeah. I bet you want more water, you American. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just thirsty.
I know. It is embarrassing.
You know what? I'll take it. This is the price I pay. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that there is a little bit of that like fear of knowing that that's going to happen. I don't blame them. If I was from another trust me, I look at us and go, oh, you fucking Americans too, don't you worry.
The first question they asked, did you vote for Trump? It's like,
that is, yeah. Or do you have a gun? I got that all the time. No and no.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It is. It's like interesting and sad to get the perspective of how the world views the country.
Yep.
And also just like gain a greater appreciation for other cultures, and 100%. Like again, just going back to the news, all the things it says all the time about like how scary the world is, and like yes, there's horrible things happening. And I remember telling my parents this in a way of like, there's horrible things happening quite literally here. Like, look around us. It's all over. So, like, me going to another country where, like, yeah, there's murders. Well, yep, there's murders in San Diego. Yep. Like, and not that they were saying that that's not the case, but I think sometimes when you don't travel in a long time, you get this, like, bubble. You're in this bubble of, like, everything outside is scary. The world is scary. And I'm safe here. We're exactly where I am. Yeah.
And I think our media has a really horrible habit of only showing like really negative things that are happening in other places, or like the really rough down beaten parts. And it's like, if like every place is going to have that. If the other media showed America in a certain light, I mean, they kind of do, to be honest, but I just think being aware and that's what I'm trying to do, of like not come at it like super ignorant either, of just being so. It is kind of hard. I mean, it restores my faith in humanity, but also makes me realize like our brains and humans are capable of so much, and I think as Americans we've been told like otherwise, and that's so sad. The fact that everybody in the whole world speaks English, and I'm like, ¿Cómo estás? It's like, it's so sad. Or they know our history and what's going on with our politics and our country more than half of us, and like ask me what is Iceland? How we're gonna know it's an island? You know what I mean? Like it's really sad, but also I try to come at it of like I'm going to better myself and learn.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, Erica, we know this, but like, I did a solo trip to Santa Barbara 2 years ago, and that was so, like, I think about it a lot because it was just so, I loved it. It was great. It was exactly what I needed, and I did a lot of things I would do if I went to another country. I, like, went to restaurants, I walked around the parks, I, like, literally tried to not get in my car, and I went on hikes and just saw the area, looked at the neighborhoods, went to a concert, went to the museums. And I feel like just having that dedicated time where you're not around anyone, your brain is like seeing and discovering new things. And like, even though, yes, it's 3 hours up the road, it was still like a new experience. And you're much more, is the word uninhibited? Like, you're much more likely to just do things you wouldn't normally do because you don't have this fear of, like, who's going to see me, or, like, I might see this person again, or what, I don't know. Like,
it's a whole new version of you.
Yeah. And I think that is, like, so helpful to just, like, remember that you have that muscle, and then you come back home, and then you, like, can be a little bit more outgoing or engaging or unafraid to ask questions or willing to go try like a new thing. Like, you think about it, you go travel somewhere and you like do all this cool shit, and then you come back home and you go back into your routine, and it's like there's a lot of cool shit here to do, like meetups and groups to join, and like, I don't know, if you're interested in like taking tours here, there are those options, like being a tourist in your own city, which I think we've talked about. But it's like you forget that when you have your friends, you have your community, you don't like challenge yourself to try new things necessarily.
That's not a boring statement at all. I'm sorry, I'm yawning.
Every time I speak.
No. I love that, and I do think that there is like, Iceland is definitely just like, I'm just trying to like take a big leap, but it is something that I'm thinking about too, of just having like solo trips, even places in the state, even places here. And I do think that there's so important, even like the little camping, getaways that we do either together or by ourselves is just so nice too. There was something else you were gonna say, or that you said that made me think of something. This is like not what I was thinking of but this just popped in my head of my passport has my name spelled wrong, and I like need to get that fixed. It's actually giving me so much anxiety, because I'm not even that I think something's gonna happen, it's just the way that it's spelled makes me feel like shit. And I'm ready to get rid of it. But I do I remembered what I was gonna say. When we came back from that trip in Miami, and this is a little different because it wasn't like we were there to party, and it was kind of like our bestie little vacay, but even still, like, it wasn't like we were going to the museums. We're going to somewhere. It wasn't a museum though, but
the strip club,
literally, that I'm like, even then, just being like free and like wearing outfits I've never worn,
fully.
And
my
feeling
little
so,
like corset top I had on,
but feeling
never
so
worn
hot
it since.
and I'm like, it's so hot, so confident, like taking pictures, going to these like places that are like not copy paste San Diego, but kind of like I see people wear like that could happen. It's a very similar kind of vibe here as it is over there, just like a little bit quieter. The feeling and the person I was when I came back from that trip was crazy. So much so that like people at work were calling it out. They were like, whoa, like you are a different person. This is crazy. And I feel like, not that I'm trying to be a different person, but I think there's something to be said of like kind of exactly what you said, like letting go of this, like all of these walls that you kind of built up, or all of these like things, your cycle of your day, and just kind of like the kind of feeling like you're dragging your feet a little bit, to like let all of that go and to be in a new space, and then bring all of that back with you, is not even any, like more than what you can feel, like other people sense that and feel that. And I just think that's so fun, and like a reset, a reset. And that's going a trip with other people. Like I can't imagine that feeling of just kind of, I don't want to have that like greater than thou kind of like attitude, but kind of like,
it is life-changing,
you know what I mean? Like I come back and you really do see things so differently. So I don't know, there's a lot of power with that and any
For
type of
sure.
travel, let alone like solo travel. So yeah, I'm excited. I have
It's
no
gonna be
idea that
so
you were doing
fun.
all of those things. Now I'm like, okay, let's lay it out because I will.
Yeah,
meet.
well, I would. If you're ready to go abroad, let's do it.
I'm ready.
I think that it's fun, honestly, too, to like if you don't think that you don't have the time this year or the budget this year or whatever, to just like, because this is kind of how it happened last year. My friends and I that I'm going on this backpacking trip with just were like, we should go in August. Let's go. And then that's just like how it happened and came to be. And I feel like picking a date in the future where you're like, I know I have nothing going on June of next year. Like, I really want to go to New York or whatever, and just putting it on the calendar. And like in your mind, it's already a thing that's happening. And then you like,
Make it work.
yeah, you make it work. You figure it out. And it's like, there are ways to make traveling so cheap. Like, it is, if you think about the money, and I do this, I think about the money I spend like eating out here and like going out and the activities I do. If I just like don't do those for 1 month and like save the money so that I can do that in another country, that's fine. I will do that. If I have something that I'm like doing it for, you know? But then if it comes around to it where someone's like, oh, do you want to go? And I haven't been planning for it, it's a lot harder to be like, I can't do that.
Yeah, totally.
That's all I have to say.
That's all I have to say. I love that. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to a lot of stuff. It's been on my mind pretty recently, so I was like, let me speak it into existence.
Yeah.
And another thing I would say is I've started to tell people, I'm like, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and go. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and go. And I think there's a lot of power into saying that, because it is a sort like a kind of manifestation a little bit of, I think I have this problem of keeping it secret and like, oh, I don't want to tell any, you know what I mean? But saying it out loud is like, because people care, at least the people in our lives care. So the next time they see me, they're like, oh, how's that trip planning? And I'm like, fuck, you know, or it's like, you know what?
Yes.
Like, actually, it's going great, and this is what I planned, and this is when I'm leaving, so...
This is so timely. Okay, sorry, I have one more thought. I was just reading this article. This was a guy who, like, started his own podcast. He's very successful in the tech space, but he's, like, not a frat tech bro. And I really enjoy his content, and he did, like, I don't know. There's an article written about him. He did an interview, and he was talking about how early on, he had like 6 friends that he would just send a weekly email to of like, here are the things I'm like, my top 3 goals for the week, like what I accomplished last week and what like I want to work on, like what I didn't work out or whatever. And he was like, no one really responded to them, but like when I would see these people, they would ask me like, oh, how did this thing go? Because it was his way of like holding himself accountable to the goals that he had as an entrepreneur, because he was like, if I'm gonna like pursue this thing and do this by myself, I want to, exactly what you said, like speak it into existence so that it's real. Otherwise, if it's just living in my brain, like I can talk myself out of it. It's not a thing that no one knows that that's what I wanted to do, so no one's gonna ask me about it. And I loved that idea, and I think that's really cool. Yeah. It doesn't have to be work. Could be travel, whatever you want to do.
Anything, yeah. No, that's all I had to say. That was perfect.
Yay.
What a great way to end. Manifest. Tell us where you're going.
Yeah, share. What do you want to do this year? Where do you want to go? I'm so distracted. I'm gonna go do
back to work.
Things.
No, don't go back to work. Don't do that.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, love you guys.
Anyways, I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Cute.